Good morning, everyone. It is February 2nd, 2019. The ruling class and an undeclared civil war. I've read this article, and it's quite lengthy, and it has a few words in it that keep tying my tongue. I've tried to do this video once before, and my tongue keeps getting tied for some reason. But I think it's important enough to try again until I do get it. But before I get started, if you agree with what I say in my videos, I could use your help, a thumbs up, perhaps a share. And I do have a PayPal link in the description box, along with my backup channels. There's one YouTube channel backup down there, along with my BitChute channel. My channel has been banned twice now, and I have 2 strikes on this current channel. So it would be a great help to me if you would simply subscribe, like, share, and if I'm worthy, donate. Anyway, this article is about the ruling class and their undeclared civil war against the American people, against the American culture, against all things American. Now, like I said, there's some words in here that I keep getting tongue-tied on, so I'm going to try to skip around here, and hopefully I hit all the key points so you get a whole picture. And it's a fairly long article, so it will probably be a fairly long video. This comes from Stephen McCann via AmericanThinker.com. Over the past 73 years, devoid of any meaningful national misfortune, the American social order has undergone a major transformation. Historically, societies tend to stratify themselves along economic or preordained class lines. The United States has long prided itself on that belief that class distinctions were no longer a part of a unique American culture. However, the current social structure has evolved into a near impregnable 3-tier categorization in which the ruling class that sits astride the social order has revealed, thanks to the election of Donald Trump, open and unabashed disdain for the 2 lower classes and the unleashing of a radicalized army of malcontents. I think probably this was becoming evident before the election of Donald Trump. I think that is probably why people voted for Donald Trump. The citizens who provide the primary labor and resources for the economic engine of the country constitute the 2nd tier. The 3rd tier is comprised of those who have been betrayed by a self-serving education system and are conditioned to be totally dependent upon a government dominated by the ruling class. Unlike any other period in the nation's history, one stratum of society, the American elites of the past half-century, by their control of education, entertainment, the media, and politics, have totally dominated and overwhelmingly, along with negatively, influenced the culture and national character. They are chiefly responsible for what it is today. This American aristocracy is now entirely made up of those who have no recall or first-hand experience of the years of adversity prior to 1940. Their entire point of reference is never-ending affluence and the pursuit of pleasure within an overall framework of world peace. Yet this assemblage is dominated by a comparatively few committed ideologues and so-called intellectuals who are dedicated to permanently altering the economy and American culture. Nonetheless, they have been very successful in attracting many others by appealing to their vanity and their vices. Thus, entrance into this class is not entirely a factor of birth or wealth, but rather that of developing a mindset of superiority similar to the evolution of cliques within a high school setting. This is further reinforced on college campuses, wherein this mindset is further enhanced by the academic elites waxing eloquent about the failings of the United States and the ideal of a classless society, led, of course, by the preeminent class themselves and their naive recruits. Now, when I was in college, I'd been there twice, people who were trying to enter this class, most of them were libtards or POCs. They were heavily favored. Maybe not favored, maybe that's not a proper description. Take, for example, my psychology professor. I don't remember her name, but she was anti-white to the core while being white herself. And every day, her class would consist of bashing white males. And this is one of the things that pushed me out of college, that and the fact that certain groups of people would have to put in tremendous amounts of work to get great grades, a high GPA, right? Whereas people of color, they got a free pass because I guess the tests were racist because they didn't understand them. Once having left the bubble that is the university environment, the majority of these same recruits, still influenced by their university experience and desirous of maintaining a standing with the circle, look to the anointed leaders in the mainstream media, the entertainment industry, and politics to set the agenda and dialogue. And they get benefits from, being a part of this group. And to retain these benefits, it becomes paramount to retain membership within a conglomeration, I butchered that word again, and to do their bidding rather than question what the pronouncements and policies of their leaders would do to the culture and well-being of the country at large. No, they don't give a shit what it does to you. They only care about maintaining their benefits. The reality is that the majority of those in the ruling class are mind-numbed, internal adolescents hell-bent on pushing the boundaries of ethical and moral behavior, and viewing all political and policy issues as a war between their side and their moral enemies, and that's those who oppose the transformation of the nation into a socialist oligarchy. And of course, we're pretty much already there. While there are a few comparatively independent thinkers within the group that do question the overreaching of a powerful central government, their opposition is muted and limited to a more gradualist approach as their concession to remain within the fold. So they have to be a lot more quiet and gradual in their approach in order to remain in the group setting. An all-powerful central government is vital to maintaining the elite's power, income base, and preeminent class status. And you can see this, right? You see this, these same families, decade after decade, remain in control. I mean, just look at all these families that have gotten so wealthy off of stealing taxpayer money. In order to retain their supremacy, the tactics of outright lies, innuendos, and character assassinations, as well as exploitation of national tragedies to impugn their adversaries, have been utilized by the foot soldiers in the mainstream media, the political establishment, and the entertainment industry. The 8 years of the Obama administration rudely awakened a sleeping populace, many of whom also benefiting from the overwhelming economic growth and absence of national adversity over the past half-century, had concisely chosen to ignore what it was happening to the culture and future well-being of the country. Thus, the election of Donald Trump was, in essence, the revenge of the lower classes for not only the overbearing and condescending attitude of the elites, but their ongoing success in transforming American society and culture. Of course, those same people fell for a Trojan horse. Now, can you not say with absolute certainty that Trump is overbearing and condescending? I think so. I mean, we're talking about a man who supports police stealing property from innocent Americans, Americans who've never committed any crimes. Simple police contact is enough of a crime for your money to be stolen. Faced with the exposure of their agenda and the real prospect of losing their status and influence, the disdain toward the lower classes, which had always bubbled beneath the surface, burst forth in a volcanic eruption of uncontrolled vitriol, anger, and absurdity. The denizens of the ruling class unleashed their out-of-control foot soldiers on the citizenry, employing the tactics and weapons previously aimed at their political enemies. Today, vast swaths of the American populace, whether they voted for Trump or not, are indiscriminately accused of being racist, misogynist, white supremacist, ignoramuses, religious zealots, xenophobes, and malcontents. Some of you are religious zealots and ignoramuses. Intimidation and threats of violence are no longer condemned so long as it is directed at those identified as a threat to the hegemony of the elites. Various social media platforms are being hijacked and weaponized by the mindless and radicalized brain-dead army of elite wannabes the ruling class chooses not to restrain in order to terrorize and permanently cower those in the second tier of society, the citizens who provide the primary labor and resources for the economic engine of the country. There is at present an undeclared and nonviolent civil war being waged in this country. And it's not completely nonviolent, by the way. There have been many, many attacks on white people in general. Keep that in mind when they say nonviolent. The underlying factor of any civil war is an elite ruling class desperate to maintain power at odds with a majority of the population seeking change. Also prevalent in most Civil War upheavals is the unleashing by those determined to retain power of the radicalized and ultimately uncontrollable dogs of war who more often than not devour their sponsors. Both elements are currently in play. While the ruling class publicly obsesses over Donald Trump and denigrates the vast majority of the population, they have planted the seeds by their actions for a takeover of the country by a radical element that will turn on them as they are presently doing within the Democratic Party. And again, I don't agree with everything this dude is writing. Fact of the matter is, Donald Trump is one of the ruling classes. Fact of the matter is, he is meant to be there. Fact of the matter is, he's just the same as all of them. He is owned by Jewish bankers. Jewish bankers he owes billions and billions and billions of dollars to. The American people must understand that the current ruling class will not willingly exit the stage or take on their mercenary army. Donald Trump, while perhaps accomplishing a significant degree of change, cannot induce their demise. He's not accomplishing a significant degree of change. What is happening is tensions continue to fester. Hatred continues to fester. Every time he gets on TV and opens his big-ass dumb mouth, it just makes things worse. And this is a great example of somebody who is highly biased toward their president. He's just the same as all the rest. If he supports your money being stolen through civil asset forfeiture, through eminent domain, he's no better than the Clintons. Anyway. This threat can only be marginalized through the determined utilization of political process. No. If they're out to destroy you, the only recourse you have is war. The political process has been used and used and used over and over and over again. And as far as I can tell, the only thing the political process has done is make things worse. And he's right, though. The future of the nation, as founded, is at stake. Anyway, thought I would share this with you. We are in big trouble, people, and nobody wants to get their hands dirty. Nobody. And it will be to our detriment. Hope you all have a great day. Remember, kill the state before the state kills you.